Hey guys, it's Izzy and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to do the next instalment of my month of talking about my disability. I'm basically mentioning everything I've wanted to mention for the last few years. So in today's video I wanted to speak about something that never gets spoken about, and if it does get spoken about, it certainly doesn't get spoken about enough, and that is disabled rights. Now I feel like in the world we are going through a lot of changes and a lot of equality issues. Whenever groups of people and like minority groups are highlighted and it's addressed that people, don't treat people right, there are various groups that get mentioned every time. Now I don't think I can even count the amount of times that disabled people are mentioned in that, because at the end of the day when it comes to it, they're not. There are so many movements to support other minority groups, and me personally as a disabled person, I just feel like the same level of input and publicity and basically just people joining in is just not present when it comes to a disability. Now, up until probably a few months ago, I didn't even realise that disabled rights and like as a whole, don't discriminate against disabled people even had a term, because that is how little it is used. So how can you educate people to respect people and to realise that to discriminate against someone with a disability is bad if they don't even realise it's bad? People recognise things such as racism and sexism because under the umbrella term of being racist or being sexist or homophobic or whatever has, you understand that and you recognise that because it is so publicly spoken about. Now, just because I'm comparing disabled rights and all of the things that I mentioned in this video to like racism and sexism, it doesn't mean I'm not saying that they exist. They totally do. I myself experience sexism all the time, so they completely do exist. What I'm trying to say is that the same level of publicity is not there when it comes to disabled rights, and things that are completely frowned upon for things such as racism, the similar comparable scenarios happen all the time for disabled people. And to be honest, I find it quite offensive. I go through my life with quite a thick skin because I get, rude comments, I get stared at, I get pointed at, and that is just kind of that's my life, I will walk down the street and I'll get a comment. I walked to the gym the other day and I didn't realise there's a school between my house and the gym, and I didn't realise what time it was, and it was finishing school time, and that sense of dread that I felt knowing that it was school time is horrible, because I know that there are little kids there and I know that people are going to comment, and yeah, it does make me feel like a bit like, oh god, because I know that that is what is going to happen. There are lots of different scenarios that happen that make discrimination a thing against someone with a disability. I'm not going to be mentioning them all in this video. Let me know down below if you have any others that you'd like to discuss, and we can all bring this into the comments as a little discussion. But yeah, this video is just going to be super chatty. So if you didn't actually know, ableism is the term for discriminating and hating against someone because of what they can or can't do. So hating against someone for their disability because they're unable to do certain things. Do I like that term? Not really, but we're gonna stick with it. We've got an ism, so we're gonna stick with it. So yeah, that is what ableism is. This can come in many forms, even just from having a facility that is not accessible for someone with a disability, that can come as ableism. I'm trying to think what else is ableism. There are lots of things. Now, a couple of things that I'm going to be speaking about today. In the media, casting able-bodied people for disabled roles. Now, this is something that I was naive as a child and didn't realise that they would do, because in my head, why would you cast an able-bodied person for a disabled role where there's someone with a disability that can do it and can kind of fit the mindset of the role more as well? So when I was little, my favourite film was The Fault in Our Stars, and for years I genuinely thought the actor that played the guy that didn't have a leg in the film was an amputee, because he's an amputee in the film. Why wouldn't he be an amputee in real life? So then to find out that, oh, he was like pretending, I think it's disgusting. I personally find it very offensive and disrespectful and rude for someone to pretend, well, for acting purposes or whatever, that they don't have a limb or that they have some sort of disability, because at the end of the day that isn't your life, so stop pretending it is. And yeah, I think as a child that was quite damaging for me, to actually think that he was an amputee and think that he was that, to then find out, oh, he wasn't, he's just pretending for a film. Like, this isn't I'm not pretending, like, this isn't a joke, this is my life. And yeah, I think it's quite damaging for that. I also think there are other things that happen. For instance, I saw a video the other day from a YouTuber, I'm not mentioning names. They were then doing a video where they pretended to have no hands, and as someone with no hands, I just find it complete mockery for somebody to, you know, go trying attempting tasks like, oh, look at this, isn't this funny having no hands? Yeah, I just find it completely disrespectful, really, because at the end of the day, that is my life, and yeah, I have to deal with it, and yeah, I would be completely capable of that task. But for someone to then go and like be pretending to do it, I just find it personally really disrespectful. And I think because there isn't very much education into what is disrespectful, what is rude, you know, where the line is with someone with a disability, it's not spoken about, that is actually really disrespectful, and that is a rude thing to do. And I think people have some level of awareness. Obviously people realise that it is classed as a hate crime, and hate crimes are illegal in the UK. To, you know, hate against someone for anything, be it, you know, their race, their sex, anything like that is classed as a hate crime. And the same goes for with a disability. If you were to be hated on for your disability, you can actually report it to the police. More rare that people say, you know, an actual comment or a negative thing. Obviously still does happen, don't get me wrong. There have still been instances where I have had the option to go and report said incident to the police because of things that have happened throughout my life, really. These are in real life events as well, I'm not just talking about on social media. Yes, so people acknowledge hate crimes are a thing, so are less likely to say like verbally abusive actual, you know, comments, but there are still lots of things that happen in the world, even just such as having certain connotations when you think of someone with a disability, that need to be, you know, got rid of. There's a very big stereotype as to people with a disability, and I get stereotyped under this all the time, and I will fight till the day I die to get rid of this stereotype. And this stereotype is used by people with a disability against me, by other people, you know, not able-bodied people against me, and that is purely due to a lack of education. Not every disabled person is fully reliant on other people. Not every disabled person is old. Not every disabled person is ugly. I mean, these are things that have been said. Oh, you're too young to be disabled. You're too pretty to be disabled. I'm like, babe. It does not like discriminate, and these stereotypes are so prominent within society. And I don't know, I get to the point in my life, like living it, where I'm just like so frustrated because I kind of have to battle against these stereotypes all of the time. And I think for me, I find it quite frustrating seeing the increased change in other areas. I know not every other area is completely solved and equality is not present. However, just seeing the massive media that things such as Pride get, and obviously with all the Black Lives Matter marches, I'm in complete support of them, and I think that they're an amazing thing. However, I do wish that there was as many allies for disabled people, because I really don't think there are. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm fighting a battle by myself, because people who, you know, say that they're for equality in everything always kind of miss out disabilities when they're speaking. And I know that people can't address every single topic and every single matter where there is an injustice and there isn't equality, but it's always disabilities that it gets missed off the list. It's disgusting, really, So many disabled people are bullied, so many disabled people feel insecure. There's like statistics of how many disabled women get attacked and get assaulted each year because they are seen as a vulnerable member of society, be it a true fact or not. The amount of people with disabilities that are unemployed, despite having the skills to get into jobs, the support is not there for them. It is a fact. I feel like I've been resistant to talk about it before because there isn't a huge group of people, you know. We are talking about a really small minority group here, you know. I don't have any stats, but the majority of but the percentage of people in the world living with a disability is relatively low in comparison to the other groups that I have been mentioning throughout this video as sort of my comparison. You know, it is low and we are seen as a minority, which I think is why it's not spoken about. But at the end of the day, it's so frustrating for me. I am just living my life completely normally, and I'm being hated for it and discriminated for it, and it sucks. There have been steps in the right direction, and I think education is so key in life for everything. All inequality comes from is a lack of education. I think most people with a disability do have a difficult life because of their disability, and I think a lot of the time that my disability doesn't make my life difficult. What makes my life more difficult is knowing that as a society I am not accepted properly and fully, and that I have to fight to prove myself, and that not everywhere is accommodating for me. I have to work harder, I have to prove myself, and I am aware of the view that I am perceived as. And I think, yeah, a lot of the time that is actually more difficult and more challenging than my actual disability. Like I said, this is a topic that I really want to speak about, but I understand that it's a delicate area to talk about. I don't really know what to say. I didn't want to plan this video because I feel like if I'm not careful, videos like this kind of come across a bit preachy, and I'm not trying to preach to anyone. I'm basically just trying to sit here and say, hold on a minute, can we all respect people with disabilities as well? So I hope you guys have found this interesting. If in any way you want to share this video, help me get my message out there even more, then please do comment other things down below, and let's continue this conversation in the comments below. I'd really like to hear any of you guys' experience, whether you are able-bodied or do also have a disability. I think it's really interesting to see other people's experiences, what they go through, and yeah, do you feel accepted? I hope you enjoyed listening to me have a little chat. If you did, make sure to like, comment and also subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.